Call me crazy if you want, but I've never liked store-bought pesto.
Ooh, store-bought pesto. I don't know if I can top that one, but imagine going on a float trip. 4 adults, 3 teens, 2 preteens, 1 toddler. And the moment you get there, this is also supposed to be a camping trip. The moment you get there, one of these adults decides, I don't want to set up the camp stuff right now. We've already wasted too much daylight. I want to get out on the lake. We'll set up camp later. So much to the hemming, the hawing, and fine, we'll just set up camp later. You get on the lake. Now remember, 4 adults, 3 teens, 2 preteens, 1 toddler. You somehow end up connected to the 3 teens. That leaves the other 3 adults, 2 preteens, and the toddler all together with the entirety of the drinks, the food, and the rest of the supplies, leaving you only with the large bottle of rum, brand new, and your 420 supplies that you brought on this camping float trip. Cue 7 long, glorious float hours in the hot, hot summer sun. I only remember being on that lake when I woke up. Mind you, I thought it was a prank at first. I wake up, I'm in my car. My car. All I see is woods. Just see the bright woods. So green and bright, and the birds are chirping around me. So again, I thought this was a prank. I thought, the boys, they're so funny. Ha 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 ha. Until I woke up a bit more. The glass was spider-webbed in front of my face. And then realization hit me. Wasn't a joke. I really was in my car. I really was in the woods. Just not for a good reason. I wake up a bit more. I try moving. I can't. I am stuck. I'm pinned where I'm at. I have no water in my car. I am dying of thirst. Try to move a little bit more. Everything on my car is dead. No electronics. I can't turn it on. So I have done some pretty good damage to not just me, but the vehicle. I do know for a fact that I can move my seat back without electronical use with the handbar underneath my seat. I just have to get to it. I could not. I was pinned so hard by my dashboard. I couldn't reach between my legs. My legs were pinned so hard to that seat, I could not in any way get around my legs to move my seat back. Upon further examination, that's when I saw the blood. The air vent dial on the driver's side of my dashboard had penetrated my thigh and caused a compound break on my femur bone. So it was broken in half, and I was bleeding. First thing I did was stop moving. I was not going to allow my movement to cause any more blood loss because the dashboard was pinning that in place. I reached around in my back seat. I did manage to grab my beach towel from the back and I pulled it forward and I pressed it to my leg as hard as I could. Thankfully, because of the dashboard pinning me, I didn't really feel it, so it wasn't a problem. I just knew pressure. But that dashed all hopes of me moving my seat and getting out of the car and going up to the road for help. because you can't move with a broken femur. So I had to sit there and I had to wait. And that was the worst because I had to sit with all of these thoughts. And the one thought I knew for sure was I wasn't going to stay here. I wasn't staying in this car. Now I did think, hey, I can see the road. The road could definitely see me, yeah? No. I had rolled my car down an incline so I could see the road. You could not see my car unless you were on the very edge. I realized this after the second car by me and nothing. So I wiggled myself to the back of my seat and I pushed myself up as high as I could go. They threw my arm through my torn off sunroof and I just started waving my arm and screaming as loud as I could. I'm here. I'm down here. I'm here. Over and over. Because I wanted to be found. I wanted somebody to find me. I don't know at the time, I didn't know how much time had gone by. But finally I got a response. I hear you, I'm here, I got you. And I can't tell you how I broke inside when I recognized the voice. It was my partner who came sliding down that hill and over to that door. I'm here. I've been looking for you. I've got you. And he tried to rip that door off with his bare hands because he wanted me out of there. And he made sure, hey, are you okay? And I tried to tell him everything that I could between, obviously, the tears, because I didn't think anybody was going to find me. I didn't think anybody was looking for me. So to be found by my partner was a feeling that I still can barely describe to this day. It was something I have never had. But we couldn't get my door open, and I definitely could not get out because of being pinned, and he did not want to leave me after just finding me, but he had to call for help. So he went back up to the road, and he could not get signal on his phone, but we got so lucky. There was this little old, I don't want to call them little old. There's this older couple who saw his vehicle. They were coming up the road. They stopped. The gentleman was a retired first responder, and he had all of the first responder gear still in his truck. And his senses were, hey, something's not right. So that's why they were driving slow. That's why they were checking. And his instincts were spot on. They stopped. He immediately called for help on his gear. His wife was out of that truck. She had bottles of water. She came down that hill, and in the most soft, mothering voice ever, she was making sure I was okay. She was helping me sip on some water so I didn't get overwhelmed by it, because it'd been hours since I had any fluids and I had been bleeding. So turns out I had wrecked my car barely half a mile from the local fire chief's house. They got a team out to me immediately. They started on getting me cut out, and that's the story of how I lost my leg. But, I mean, you know, store-bought pesto, that stuff is wild.